Good evening and welcome to the Deep Dive. This isn't your average news broadcast where we just skim the headlines. No. Tonight we're taking your stack of reports, first-hand accounts, and frankly some truly baffling eyewitness testimonies, and distilling them into what we can only describe as pure, unfiltered insight. We're talking about a story that, if it weren't so meticulously documented, would be dismissed as pure fiction. But sometimes the truth isn't just stranger than fiction, it's a lot glowier.
Indeed. Our mission tonight is to meticulously report on a series of truly unusual occurrences in a quiet North Carolina town. Occurrences that suggest ordinary might just be, well, a carefully curated performance.
A performance, right.
We'll be examining first-hand accounts and documented evidence from our intrepid local reporters, John, Widdifield, and Gretchen, who found themselves at the forefront of what some are now referring to as an avian intervention.
Avian intervention.
An avian intervention, for those unfamiliar, is basically a situation where birds appear to be acting with a coordinated, deliberate purpose, far beyond typical animal behavior, often with what seems like a communicative intent.
Got it. So think of it as your local evening news, but maybe with far less talk about the traffic on I-40 and a much higher concentration of glowing owls.
Exactly.
Get ready, because we're taking a deep dive into the curious case of the Committee for Ordinary Normality. All right, let's set the scene. Our story begins, as so many truly monumental events apparently do, in a place of profound normalcy. A gas station. Specifically, the Sheebs gas station at the very edge of Benson, North Carolina. Picture it. The faint familiar hum of buzzing neon, the irresistible aroma of stale corn dogs wafting from the convenience store.
Corn dogs.
And that one, perpetually flickering fluorescent light over pump 3. It's peak Americana, really. A tableau of the everyday.
A setting, one might argue, perfectly ripe for the extraordinary, precisely because it is so aggressively mundane. It was here, one unremarkable Tuesday morning, that John Widdifield, mid-coffee sip, had his first encounter.
Okay.
15 owls, perched with almost unsettling precision in a perfectly straight line on the roofline of the Sheebs.
15.
And these weren't just any owls, mind you. These were owls emitting a faint, unmistakable green glow.
Green glow? Like, you're kidding me. Like glow sticks dunked in holy water, practically iridescent?
Pretty much. And it wasn't just a casual perch. John described their heads swiveling in perfect, unsettling sync, their feathers shimmering with an internal luminescence.
Creepy.
His notebook, a veteran of countless mundane local council meetings, actually slid from his grasp and clattered to the pavement. He apparently whispered, "Gretchen, do you see it?"
And Gretchen, what'd she say?
And Gretchen, bless her pragmatic soul, looked up from her notes and, with admirable calm, replied, "I see owls. Pretty glowy, pretty organized. Also, we're at a creamer."
Classic Gretchen, always practical.
What's immediately striking here is the sharp divergence in initial perception, right? John almost instinctively felt the weight of profound meaning, interpreting their arrangement as an alignment.
Right, something significant.
Gretchen, however, acknowledged the objective visual facts, the glow, the organization, but immediately sought a rational, everyday context, maybe, some weird algae or something.
Yeah, trying to normalize it.
It tells us a great deal about how we process the truly unusual. Some seek meaning, others seek a return to the familiar. And in this case, the context soon arrived, albeit in an unexpectedly avian form.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting and, frankly, a bit unsettling for your typical morning commute. The owls, with a series of deliberate hops and shuffles along the roofline, began to rearrange themselves, not into a random cluster, mind you, but into giant glowing letters. C.O.N.
C.O.N.
And for punctuation, get this. One owl, with what can only be described as a dramatic flourish, fluttered down and dropped a single Vienna soda can right beside the N.
A Vienna.
Vienna.
Soda can, like for sausages.
A Vienna can, not a golden scroll, not a cryptic symbol, but a cheap canned sausage accompaniment. The sheer absurdity of it, yet the undeniable precision.
The precision, as you highlight, is truly remarkable. John Widdifield, even amidst the initial shock, immediately deduced this was the Committee for Ordinary Normality, making a grand, if deliberately cryptic, reveal.
C.O.N. Okay.
This brings us to a critical question for you. Why Sheebs? Why the backdrop of corn dogs and unleaded? Was it to maximize exposure? Or maybe to imbue the message with the veneer of the commonplace, making it easier to dismiss?
Good question. Blend in plain sight.
Perhaps. As one stunned customer demonstrated by sprinting to his truck and peeling out of the lot, leaving a fresh streak of tire rubber, The message, whatever its full intent, was certainly unsettling.
Yeah, I bet.
The choice of venue itself becomes part of the message, suggesting that this committee operates right at the heart of our perceived normalcy.
So, the very next morning, the Benson town hall was buzzing, but not with the usual chatter about bake sales or, the latest severe weather warning.
No, I imagine not.
Folding chairs were hastily set out, and a rather amateurish banner declared, "Emergency meeting, owls of concern." Because, let's be honest, glow-in-the-dark, letter-forming owls don't exactly fit neatly into the typical zoning agenda.
Not usually covered in Robert's Rules of Order, no.
The atmosphere, according to our reports, was a chaotic mix of fear, bewilderment, and probably a healthy dose of "I told you so."
And into this civic maelstrom of confusion and caffeine jitters stepped Mr. Grady.
Ah, Mr. Grady.
A local pigeon racer, self-proclaimed conspiracy enthusiast, and crucially, a man whose faded baseball cap proudly read "Pigeons Forever," and whose demeanor absolutely screamed, "Today is my Super Bowl."
Right, his moment had arrived.
He carried a rolled-up map, and with a flourish usually reserved for a magician's reveal, he slapped it onto a folding table with undeniable authority.
Okay, so what was on the map?
Grady declared, to absolute certainty, that these owls weren't just perching, they were mapping.
Mapping.
He insisted their glowing avian bodies, positioned across the town, precisely matched Benson's grid, Main Street, Railroad Avenue, Johnson Lane, down to the very yard.
No way.
John Widdifield, always drawn to the esoteric, naturally sprang to attention, recognizing what he called sacred geometry disguised as zoning ordinances.
Sacred geometry. Okay. A bit much, maybe, but I see his point.
Well, if we connect this to the broader picture of how communities respond to the inexplicable, it highlights a fascinating social dynamic. Previously dismissed eccentrics like Mr. Grady can, in times of genuine strangeness, become invaluable sources of insight, right?
True. The guy obsessed with pigeons suddenly has the key.
His unconventional hobby had, in fact, prepared him to recognize patterns where others saw only chaos. And Gretchen, ever the diligent reporter, didn't just dismiss him.
No.
Instead, she methodically verified Grady's claim by comparing her photos of the owl formations with his map, and the spacing matched. It was deliberate.
Wow. So Grady was right.
The implication here is profound. Sometimes the most unlikely sources hold the most vital keys to understanding. It forces us to question our own biases about who we consider a credible source,
Definitely. This undeniable confirmation, of course, fueled Grady's confidence to supernova levels.
I bet.
He proudly reminded everyone within earshot that they'd all laughed at his claims of unionized pigeons back in '09. But glowing owls, suddenly it's serious business.
You had a point, maybe.
The crowd, a bit chastened, murmured, and Gretchen's cutting retort, "Pigeons had a PR problem. Owls brought neon signage."
Huh. A compelling, if sarcastic, argument for the importance of effective branding, even in the animal kingdom's clandestine operations.
Exactly.
Grady then leaned in, lowering his voice conspiratorially like he was sharing nuclear launch codes, and spoke of an escalation. He outlined their methodology. Stage 1 was spelling. Stage 2, coordinates.
Coordinates, like GPS.
He even recounted a story about his cousin in Fuquay who had found GPS coordinates on a feed store receipt, which naturally led to raccoons.
Raccoons. Okay, this keeps getting weirder.
It raises a fascinating question for you. How often do we overlook seemingly random data points in our own lives, a series of numbers, a repeated phrase that might in fact be forming a deliberate pattern of communication, if only we knew how to connect the dots?
Makes you think. So, that night, the Benson Festival grounds were eerily silent, smelling faintly of old fried sugar and a growing suspicion.
Perfect atmosphere.
It was a perfect, almost theatrical backdrop for what came next. Dozens upon dozens of owls descended from the darkened sky like green sparks from a busted transformer, landing with practiced precision and formation.
Not just a few this time, then.
No, dozens. They created a massive, pulsing, glowing spiral on the dewy grass, stretching across the entire field.
A spiral. The precision, as you observed, was utterly astonishing. John described it later as the Benson grid alive. It's flawless.
The grid again.
And this time, even Gretchen's initial calm gave way to a stark realization. She reportedly whispered, "This isn't random. This is intelligent.
Yeah.
Organized. It's not pareidolia seeing faces in clouds. It's words on a page."
That's a powerful distinction.
It is. This distinction is critical. The difference between projecting meaning onto randomness and recognizing an intentional message. It shifts the entire narrative from natural phenomenon to deliberate communication.
Absolutely. And then, like a perfectly orchestrated prop falling into place, a slip of paper fluttered down from the spiraling avian light show.
Oh, what was it?
It was a Sheebs receipt.
Another Sheebs receipt.
Another Sheebs receipt. And not just any receipt. 3 corn dogs, 2 slam sticks, and then a series of numbers.
Numbers. Coordinates.
John, his heart hammering against his ribs, snatched it from the grass. Coordinates! Latitude, longitude. Gretchen, they point to the old Graham barn just north of town.
So Grady's theory was right. The receipts were clues.
Looks like it.
This incident lent powerful credence to Grady's receipt theory, transforming mundane consumer data into directional clues. The owls weren't merely communicating, they were providing an actionable itinerary, a direct command. And as if to underline that command, the glowing spiral dissolved, and the dozens of owls rose in unison, forming a massive, unmistakable arrow in the sky, pointing due north directly toward the Graham barn.
An arrow. Made of owls.
They were, quite literally, leading the way. So the question for you becomes, what do you do when the world suddenly provides an undeniable, glowing instruction? Do you question the source, or do you follow the lead?
And follow. Our intrepid reporters did. The old Graham barn, according to John's notes, looked like it was one stiff breeze away from collapse, a forgotten relic.
Dilapidated, yeah.
But as he and Gretchen approached, their headlights swept across dozens of glowing green eyes, perched everywhere imaginable.
Oh boy, more owls?
Inside, the rafters were packed with owls, their collective pulsating glow filling the barn like an unholy, otherworldly Christmas pageant. Their eyes blinked terrifyingly in eerie unison.
Synchronized blinking. Creepy. The convergence of so many individuals, all exhibiting synchronous, coordinated behavior within the barn, strongly suggested a central command, wouldn't you say? A point of origin for this unusual activity.
It definitely feels like it.
And across the back wall of the barn, formed by the glowing bodies of even more owls, was the familiar acronym, now solidified as their unmistakable signature. C.O.N.
C.O.N. again. Confirmed.
Confirmed.
And then came the soundtrack. A tinny transistor radio perched on an overturned bucket hissed to life.
Uh-oh.
From it, a calm, perfectly modulated voice intoned. The Committee for Ordinary Normality reminds you everything is fine, remain calm, nothing unusual is happening.
Wow. Direct denial.
John, as you might imagine, pointed a furious, trembling finger at the glowing acronym on the wall. There, they're projecting the logo, the radio's parroting it. This isn't random, this is orchestrated denial.
Yeah. It certainly seems that way. This moment raises a profoundly important question about the nature of normality itself, right?
How so?
If maintaining it requires active, scripted, and frankly ridiculous denial in the face of glaring evidence, then is it truly normal? Or is normality merely a meticulously managed illusion?
Good point.
Gretchen, ever the pragmatist and the investigator, wasn't just observing. She swept her flashlight across the dusty floorboards, noticing something out of place. New wood planks, different nails.
Covering something up.
Someone had very recently covered something, actively concealing their tracks.
And beneath those suspiciously new planks, a matte black, industrial-looking case stamped with the unmistakable C.O.N. Field Kit Avian Vector.
A field kit.
A kit. It was like something out of a spy thriller, but for birds. Inside, laminated instruction cards, a rugged tablet, spools of wire, and yes, a pouch filled with those ubiquitous Vienna soda cans.
The cans, so they were part of it.
Gretchen, her composure unbreaking, methodically flipped through the cards, holding them up like courtroom evidence.
Formation templates?
Yeah.
Copy city grids with owls.
Broadcast script. Local radio denial, word for word. And the kicker. Receipt drop protocol, print GPS coordinates at Sheebs registers. It was all there. Every weird detail accounted for.
Wow. The contents of that kit provided irrefutable proof.
Yeah.
The Vienna cans were not discarded litter, but deliberately planted tokens.
Yeah.
Plausible deniability, right? A way to make the extraordinary seem mundane.
Exactly.
The owl patterns followed precise templates, meticulously designed. And every bland, reassuring denial heard on the radio, every dismissive statement from officialdom, was a pre-written script.
It wasn't chaos.
This wasn't chaos or a bizarre natural occurrence. It was calculated stagecraft, a theatrical production designed to maintain an illusion. Mr. Grady, who arrived just in time, clutching a pecan log like a lifeline.
Pecan log.
Apparently, he surveyed the scene and simply confirmed everything is planted, the whole operation.
Just as our heroes John, Gretchen, and Mr. Grady were processing this extraordinary reveal, the barn doorway framed a new arrival.
Who now?
A man in a perfectly tailored, utterly forgettable beige suit, clipboard in hand, a smile locked in place that seemed surgically attached. The bland government agent.
Of course. The man in beige.
He announced pleasantly, his voice devoid of any real inflection. "Good evening. Just a routine avian clustering. Nothing to see here. Please disperse."
Routine avian clustering.
Right.
A textbook maneuver. Dismiss the extraordinary as mundane, minimize the evidence, and attempt to reassert control through calm authority.
John, still clutching the glowing owl logo and the exposed field kit, attempted to argue, his voice strained. "Sir, these birds are spelling acronyms, while your radio broadcast denies reality like it's on payroll."
A fair point.
The agent, unfazed, simply flipped a page on his clipboard and without a flicker of emotion declared John's observations classic pareidolia.
Pareidolia. Seeing patterns where there are none.
He then blandly recommended hydration and 8 hours of rest. The implication, of course, was that John was simply tired, dehydrated, or, imagining things. But Gretchen, our steady anchor in this bizarre storm, wasn't having it. She tapped the crowbar she'd used to pry up the planks against the C.O.N. case. "We're hydrated, we're awake, and we're keeping this kit."
Good for her. Standing her ground.
The agent, without even looking at the evidence she presented, calmly scooped up another Vienna can that had rolled across the floor, cheerfully declaring, "Recycling compliance, good citizen."
Oh, come on.
John, aghast, called it evidence. The agent, calm as ever, corrected him. Aluminum. Discarded packaging. It was infuriating, a masterclass in gaslighting.
Absolutely. This moment marks a crucial shift in the narrative, though. It moves beyond simply uncovering information to actively countering obfuscation.
So.
John understood that they couldn't out-talk this agent. They couldn't win with logic against weaponized blandness. They needed to out-pattern him.
Out-pattern him.
They had to present a pattern so undeniable, so overt, that it couldn't be rationalized away, even by a professional purveyor of blandness.
I see. So what does this all mean for you when you face similar, albeit perhaps less avian, forms of denial? John, Gretchen, and Grady exchanged a determined look. Then, Grady, with a mischievous grin, scattered handfuls of birdseed in a massive spiral across the dirt floor.
Birdseed.
And the owls. They swooped down instantly, glowing brighter, moving with a synchronized precision that no one, not even a bland government agent, could possibly call random or pareidolia or anything other than deliberate.
Then put on a show for him.
Pretty much. The barn lit up like a veritable galaxy, a swirling vortex of green light. Even the agent's perpetually neutral jaw tightened just slightly.
He noticed something.
His only retort, delivered with a forced, almost pained calm, was efficient distribution of seed-based nutrition. Still ordinary.
Oh, for goodness sake.
But then something truly remarkable happened. The transistor radio, which had been spouting its programmed denials, suddenly squealed, garbled, and then, for a breathtaking moment, whispered something new, something different.
Is it?
The radio glitched, questioned itself.
The script, for a second, had doubted itself.
Right.
That's right, the very mechanism of denial glitched. And for 3 breathtaking seconds, the owls lifted from their seed spirals, swirling above them, and spelled a single, undeniable, glowing word in the air. L-O-O-K.
L-O-K. Just look.
Yeah.
What stands out to you about this particular moment? The direct, unequivocal communication from the owls, or that rare, almost defiant glitch in the system of engineered denial?
Both are pretty stunning, honestly. By mid-morning, the Benson town hall was packed again, but this time the atmosphere was different. Word had spread like wildfire.
Understandable.
It drew a diverse crowd, including Mrs. Hendricks from the infamous raccoon incident, apparently a true veteran of local strangeness.
She's seen things.
At the front, Gretchen, now like a seasoned professor who'd just gotten tenure in weird studies, stood behind a projector. John moved through the crowd, handing out flyers titled simply, "How the Trick Works."
Laying it all out. This marked a pivotal moment. The public dissemination of the normalization dashboard.
Normalization dashboard.
Gretchen, with crystal clarity, laid out its deceptive phases. Phase 1. Animals do strange things, establish the bizarre. Phase 2. Throw Vienna cans to look like trash inject plausible deniability. Phase 3. Script denials, word for local radio and government agents gaslight the public.
The whole playbook.
What's crucial here is understanding the psychological sequence designed to erode belief and maintain the illusion of normality. Each phase builds on the last, slowly conditioning a community to dismiss the obvious.
Sneaky. John held up a laminated card from the kit. "Remain calm. Nothing unusual is happening." "This isn't a report," he told the hushed room. "It's a script. They read it like karaoke, hoping you'll sing along."
Karaoke denial. That's good.
Gasps rippled through the room. The librarian, a woman not easily swayed by hyperbole, perfectly summed it up. They aren't reporting, they're reciting.
Exactly. The realization was dawning. They hadn't been informed, they'd been manipulated. The evidence was overwhelming, meticulously presented, coded receipts for GPS coordinates, strategically planted cans to erase meaning, and pre-written scripts designed to deny reality itself.
In Grady.
Mr. Grady, in a moment of utterly glorious dramatic flair, raved his water bottle towards the back of the room and declared with mock seriousness, hydration.
Oh!
Perfect.
The laughter that followed was not merely amusement. It was sharper, aimed, a collective release of tension, and a defiant rejection of the official narrative.
And then, right on cue, the beige returned.
Oh no, not again.
The bland government agent, now flanked by two equally bland-looking deputies, entered the town hall. His voice, smooth as room temperature oatmeal, uttered the now familiar, infuriating refrain. Everything is fine. Just a slight public overreaction to perfectly natural animal behaviors. Nothing to see here.
But Gretchen didn't flinch this time, did she? Not a bit. She simply tapped the tablet, revealing the agent's own denial tree projected onto the screen. She read from it, dissecting their playbook. When someone sees a pattern, you say pareidolia.
Turning his own tools against him.
When someone takes a photo, you say random clustering. When a whole town agrees, you say mass hysteria. And when all else fails, she clicked the tablet and the words filled the wall, mocking him. Everything is fine.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
This moment raises an important question for you. What happens when a community, empowered by truth and evidence, collectively refuses to be gaslit?
Yeah, what does happen? The agent, visibly flustered for the first time, tried to pivot to mass misinterpretations and predictably recommend rest.
Of course.
But Grady, with impeccable comedic timing, loudly interrupted with hydration.
Yeah.
The laughter in the room broke bigger, a roaring wave of collective understanding and defiance. Then the librarian, seizing the moment, asked the agent to simply read the denial script aloud himself.
Put him on the spot.
He stammered, unable to. Gretchen, stepping forward, cut him off and finished his sentence. Everything is visible.
Visible. Powerful.
The answer to the question of what happens when a community resists came immediately. Outside, a sudden whoosh of wing beats.
The owls. Again.
Dozens of owls glided past the town hall windows, glowing faintly even in the daylight, banking and circling. And then, above the parking lot, they wrote a single luminous word in the air. S-E.
S-E. Just like look before. Direct command.
The crowd gasped. Phones shot up, documenting the undeniable. The agent, his bland smile finally gone, jaw tight, simply closed his clipboard. Noted, he said, the single word dripping with impotent frustration, and retreated, his deputies following.
He retreated. No arrests.
No arrests, no kit seizure, just a quiet, undeniable retreat. The room erupted in applause, relief, and a righteous fury.
Yeah. People power, aided by owls.
Gretchen, surveying the empowered crowd, gave them their homework. Publish the kit, show your families, teach your kids. If you hear the script on the radio, record it. If you see Vienna cans planted, take photos.
Don't let them get away with it.
The trick only works if we call it coincidence. Call it what it is instead. The room erupted again, awake, aware, and ready. That evening, John and Gretchen found themselves back at the Sheebs, sitting on the hood of their car.
Full circle.
2 owls perched on the windshield, calmly sharing a slam stick like it was a very strange first date.
Sharing a slam stick. Okay, now it's just getting weirdly charming.
We actually closed one, John said, a note of reverence in his voice. Gretchen, holding up one of the now infamous Vienna cans, replied, "Case closed. Shelf it right between raccoon helmets and clipboard denial in the archives of Benson oddities."
Huh. Raccoon helmets. Right. A quiet moment of triumph. A significant victory in the face of orchestrated normality. But as we know from history, the ordinary can be a very large, complex, and persistent performance, often with multiple acts running concurrently.
Yeah, you feel like it's not quite over, and just when you think you can sit back and relax, the radio crackles. A calm anchor voice, chillingly familiar in its measured tone, in tones. In Dunn, North Carolina, just a short drive south, multiple herds of cattle have been observed standing perfectly still in open fields, each facing due east.
Cattle now, facing east.
Authorities advise motorists not to stop on highway shoulders to take photographs, citing traffic concerns and the importance of allowing animals to graze undisturbed.
The same pattern. Odd animal behavior, followed by a bland official dismissal. It seems the patterns are not confined to Benson. This new report, eerily similar in its underlying absurdity and official deflection, suggests a far broader operation.
John and Gretchen exchanged a look, not of panic or doubt, but of recognition, maybe a familiar weariness laced with renewed resolve.
Right, here we go again.
It's happening again, John said, his voice low. Then let's happen back, Gretchen replied, her hand already moving towards the ignition.
Happen back, I like that.
They slid into the car, the glowing owls forming an honor guard, escorting them east, their luminescence cutting through the growing twilight. And for just a heartbeat, beneath the static of the radio, they both heard it again. A whisper, not from an anchor or an agent, but from somewhere deeper, an echo of the Barnes message. See.
Gretchen placed her hand over John's on the wheel, a gesture of shared resolve, a quiet agreement to continue pushing back against the carefully constructed illusion. Eyes up, she said.
And he replied, always.
So for you, in a world constantly telling you everything is fine, how attuned are you to the subtle whispers, the planted Vienna cans, the scripted denials that suggest otherwise? Are you truly seeing or merely being told what to believe?
So there you have it, a deep dive into the true story of Benson, the glowing owls, the Committee for Ordinary Normality, and the intrepid individuals who dared to look closer. From strategically placed Vienna cans designed for plausible deniability to coordinated avian formations and meticulously scripted denials, our deep dive revealed how normality can be, well, a carefully constructed illusion.
It serves as a potent reminder that critical thinking isn't just an academic exercise. It's an essential, real-world tool for navigating a world often intent on telling us what to see, or perhaps more accurately, what not to see. It demands vigilance and a willingness to question the obvious.
Absolutely. So next time you're at the gas station or hear a strange, blandly reassuring news report, remember Benson.
Right.
What hidden patterns are lurking just beneath the surface of your ordinary day, and are you truly seeing them? Or simply being told everything is fine? Keep those eyes up, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
We'll be here with another Deep Dive soon.